So let's discuss a massive issue that could come up for the Argentina game, the first line's date. First dates are tricky, and this one could get a bit weird and actually could end in a bit of a farce. And I think it's something that's not really talked about enough. So strap in, you want to watch the whole of this one, because as I was digging into it, just more and more issues came up. Now, first of all, why do the Lions have these kind of send-off games, these kind of warm-up games? Well, it's money, of course, isn't it? To get the hype going, to make as much money as they can from the tour. Now, that being said, I do much prefer the format this time where they're playing it in one of the four nations of the Lions, and they're playing a proper team, as in a tier one, an international team like Argentina, rather than some bizarre invitational team halfway around the world to wherever they're going. So I like the idea. In Dublin, it should be packed out. But if you can't field a credible Lions team, then it does make a little bit of a joke of it potentially. So I'm excited for the game, but I think there could be some big issues. So do check out this mess, because it's all about the domestic league playoffs and when they happen and who's going to be in them. And then, of course, you add on injuries and you could have a real problem where there just aren't enough Lions to make a pack, shall we say, to make a team, and then you're just going to have to go looking. So first of all, I'm going to flash up the dates that clash with this Lions game. So we've got the 20th June, the Lions against Argentina. Sounds great, but then we've got these playoff games. We've got the URC semi-final, quarter-final and final, all that sort of thing. We've got the Premiership semi and final. We've got the top 14, of course, and Blair Kinghorn's in that, plus anyone else they might want to call up from that at some point. So players in the teams that are not in these playoffs or knocked out early, well, they should be okay. So, for example, if a team gets knocked out in the semis of the URC or the Premiership, then they're probably just about okay. A 13-day turnaround, very short recovery from the long season, plus a tiny bit of training. You could get guys on a pitch. I mean, it's not ideal, but you've got to make the money. So that's a possibility. If they get knocked out in the URC quarterfinals, even better for the Lions coaches, that's for sure. And they could put out maybe quite a strong side, but it could go badly wrong. And remember, this is Argentina, who I think are going to be pretty strong whatever, and they're going to be desperate for a Lions pelt for their Puma fans. That would be a great trophy. So they're going to be going at it, and the Lions could absolutely lose this game even with a good team, so they're going to have to really go for it if they're very short. And then, like I mentioned, even if these teams aren't involved in the playoffs or they get knocked out early, there could be knocks, there could be big injuries or little injuries, and means they either can't play or probably shouldn't play, so that's something to consider as well. If the teams make the finals, of course, it's only a 6-day turnaround, so there's just no way you'd play anyone, or you certainly shouldn't play anyone, even if they came away from those games fit and feeling fresh, dare I say. So that's not going to happen. So let's just dig through some scenarios and pick a pretty bad scenario with the URC final. Let's say it is Leinster and Glasgow, say, and that would leave a stack of players out of the Argentina game. There's a list there: Conan Cummings, Xander Fagerson, Furlong, Kelleher, McCarthy, Porter, Ryan Sheehan, Van der Fleer, Gibson, Park, Jones, Tupelutu, Keenan, Lowe and Ringrose all out. Tupelutu's injured anyway, but they wouldn't be able to play, so that's a massive chunk of your best players out. Premiership final, well, it's a good likelihood if Bath get their act together, then they'll be in the final. So Finn Russell, Will Stewart are out, plus any players you might want to call up from them to fill in any spots, they're out. That's something to remember as well. Leicester could be in there. That's Ollie Chesham. Saracens could make a final potentially. That would be pretty bad. That would be a Toje, Earl and Daly. And Sale is Cowan-Dickey and Curry. We've got Genge and Thomas Williams of Gloucester there, Genge of Bristol. So there's a number of bad scenarios. The worst would be the one containing the captain. If Saracens made the final, that's a Toje, Earl and Daly out. And then let's say some of the injuries haven't recovered by then, and they're probably going to pick up new ones anyway. So let's just assume the current injuries kind of stay as injuries and new ones kind of even it out anyway. So at the moment on the injury list is kind of Xander Fagerson, Tom Curry's just done his hamstring, Tupelutu, Hansen, Van der Merwe, Kinghorn in all stages of injury. Then you add in a few new ones. So let's just not add new ones and just say that those guys are definitely out. So for argument's sake, with that sort of scenario, the hypothetical squad would be 25 Lions out of contention, 14 forwards, 11 backs, so you only have 13 to pick from. 7 forwards, 6 backs, you can't make a team, let alone do any training, that's for sure. So here's the squad as it was, and then let's cross out the players who wouldn't be available from this scenario. And of course, there's lots of other scenarios where different players would miss out, but this is a pretty bad one. So what could you do? How could you fill up a team? Well, Could it be something like this? And you pop in those names and there's loads of big holes. We need some tight heads. We need a back rower. And where do you get them from? Well, no, the obvious answer is, well, get them from the players who might go if they're called up. But then, of course, you've got the national tours. If players are picked for the national tours, they're happening at pretty much the same time. For example, there's an England Invitational 15 happening on the same weekend as the Argentina game, and then they fly out to Argentina. So do national coaches really want players that are crucial for these developmental tours going and playing for the Lions? Well, no, they don't. Are they going to stop them playing for the Lions? Well, you can't really tell a player you can't play for the Lions, really, but that could be a right ding-dong. Plus, of course, it costs loads of money to call up these players and just fill in for one game. So either way, it's a massive headache. I mean, if you were to fill in with players on the standby list, it might look at something like this, but are these players available? Some of them, of course, will be playing in those finals or picking up injuries, so I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest. Training-wise, they'll probably train with kind of a local decent-ish team to make up the numbers. And maybe if they can't pull in enough players on the standby list, it's just going to be a hodgepodge of professional players that are available and local, maybe around the Dublin region. Who knows? So it could be very strange indeed, quite a bizarre game. Now, if the Lions coaches were going to be cynical, and maybe deep down they're going to be wanting Leinster to kind of get knocked out in the quarterfinals or at least the semi-finals, and that would solve an awful lot of headaches. But if they make the final, and any number of scenarios is going to be pretty bad. So let me know what you think about this game. Should they play these games at all? Is it just a money grab? Well, it kind of is, but it could be cool, or it could be a bit of a farce, a proper Franken Lions team. Let me know what you think of this potential issue and how you get around it if you do at all. And of course, we've got the ongoing 45% on testosterone testing kits from Manual. It's 30 odd on the sign up anyway. Then you get the extra with the RugbyAnalyst 45. So really cheap to do a home test if that's what you want to do, or any friends, let them know. So pop down the answers below. What might the team look like for this Argentina game? Is it a bit of a farce? Should it happen at all? Love to know your thoughts. Like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you next time.